Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crowdsourced challenge. It's time to spin the wheel, but real quick I want to just say I have added one thing to the wheel that's going to remove a rule if it comes up. Because there's been a lot of people complaining about the silage bale rule. I have inserted something into the wheel, a new rule that says the silage bale rule will be removed. At least I think I have. It should be in there somewhere. I'm trying to find it and I can't see it. Should be actually over here. Yeah. It's in this blue segment here. No silage bale rule no longer applies. So with that said, let's spin the wheel and see what new hell awaits me today. I didn't rig it. I swear I didn't rig it. I'll see you guys again once I've calmed down. Alright, I've calmed down a bit. And we're in game now. We've got some bale stacking to do today. I am going to manually stack these on the trailer, at least for the first round of bales. I've got to bring this down to field 7. We've got hay bales ready to go. I'm really looking forward to the amount of people who think that the wheel was rigged this time. Considering that was the only option I actually pointed out before I spun it, ever. Good lord. Oh. Well, there have been multiple complaints about silage bale rule, so it's maybe a good thing that it is no longer in effect. I know people might complain that, you know, there's a rule that directly contradicted an old one, but it was getting rid of a rule. And that was kind of a one-off because so many people were complaining about the silage bale rule. I'm not going to do it for like every rule, have a rule that can, you know, just rule it out. It does mean that I get away with the spin today. You know, today was effectively a free spin because it just overrode an old rule. And obviously if there's complaints about another rule, I will take them into account and weigh up whether or not it's worth doing another, you know, putting something else into the wheel that may or may not be randomly selected to take that rule out. Though I will never actually rig that wheel. As much as I'd like to sometimes to get the nice rules in, that'd be super awesome for me, I'm not going to, because I kind of enjoy the absolute terror I feel every day when I click the button to spin the wheel. Kind of enjoy that, and I think you guys do as well. But as always, leave your I've turned into Porky Pig. Leave your rule suggestions in the comment section below. And I'll add some. I forgot to add some from yesterday's video in, so I do apologize. I will add as many as I can in. Just one little thing. I'm not going to do any in-cab rules. Any rules that say I've got to drive in-cab. I know I got a complaint about this yesterday that I'm excluding rules for potentially silly reasons. But the reason for the no in-cab rule is because it would be physically painful. Because if I do in-cab, I like using track hat, and, well, there's two reasons really. I like using track hat when I'm in-cab, and unfortunately my track hat, the physical hat doesn't fit, and I need to get a new clip for my headphones. So I'm going to do that a couple of weeks' time, I think. Or whenever my YouTube payment comes through for this month. And secondly, I know from experience that people get really annoyed when you do only in-cab. I know people also get annoyed when you do only third person as well. But I find it a lot easier to do definitely bale loading work in third person. I will do some more in-cab work in the future though, to suit the people who like seeing the in-cab bits of video and bits of streams. I will try to remember to go in cab a bit more often for you guys. Now, I did look through the comments of yesterday's video and very few people actually guessed correctly what I am missing, because they did say I'm missing something for the cows. And what I am missing is, and I did see a couple of comments guessing correctly, what I'm missing is a feeder wagon. I don't have one yet, so I need to buy that probably tomorrow, or possibly during the stream, because I do need to get... Can I fit more bales on if I auto-load? I think I'll be able to fit more bales on if I auto-load, you know? Let's give this a try. The trailer's not set up correctly, so I'm just spamming Z and X until it does something. There we go. I can't fit more bales on if I auto-load because they glitch through the back. So, technically this is cheating, but there's no rule saying I can't auto-load yet, so... Yeah, it... I may get the big autoloader that stacks at some point as well, because right now what I'm going to have to do is bring these over to the yard, dump them somewhere that's not the shed that I want to keep the bales in. I say dump. Unload them somewhere that's not the shed I want to keep the bales in, because I want to stack them up in the shed, and I'm going to use the John Deere for that. That's why the John Deere has the... it's not a stack loader, but you know, I'm using it as a stack loader. That's why I've got the John Deere set up the way that I do. Some people suggest that I'm missing a telehandler. I don't think I am. I know that a lot of people use telehandlers in Farm Sim and telescopic loaders and load-alls and stuff. And they've, you know, if you're so used to it, you feel like I'm missing one. Honestly, I don't know. I don't think I need one. Which may be a bad way to look at things. I don't feel like I need a telehandler of any description, just because it's Farm Sim. I can do pretty much everything I want to with a front loader on a tractor. Let's unload those there, and we'll spin around, get up to the... We'll go back down to the field, I should say. Now there is a bit of a crying shame here, because I'd love to have used the D1000 bales from the baler that comes with the dually, the New Holland D1000 from CD Models, 4D modding, whatever. Unfortunately, they don't work with seasons. The original plan was to have the D1000 as I turned into Porky Pig again. But if I were to use them, I would have them for literally like less than a day, and then they disappear because they're not seasons compatible. I don't know if it's possible to make them seasons compatible. I don't know how that works at all. I may have a word with some of the seasons guys and see if I can't get some information out of them and make a seasons compatible D1000. Because I want the actual bales to be seasons compatible. I don't want to shoehorn the standard bales into it. Maybe easy, maybe difficult, I don't know. I'll find out somewhere along the way, probably. But I've just realised I never actually tested with the new D1000. I'll do some testing off camera later tonight. I do actually have a few new mods installed. You can see I've got the light HUD installed now by suggestion of Mr. Bullet Bill. And I think it actually is conflicting with the turn light HUD mod I use. Either that or I don't have the turn light mod on. But I do have the light HUD on so you can see when I've got the lights on. That was requested by Bullet Bill himself. And for some reason I thought it did something entirely different. I don't know why. I just had this ridiculous set of misconceptions that number one, it did something entirely different from what it does, and number two, that it for some reason conflicted with drive control, which it clearly doesn't. So apologies to Ian for that, and I guess Bullet Bill for being wrong. So I heard yesterday during the stream that the ploughing yesterday was cancelled, or the public areas were, at the very least. The ploughing actually continued. And that was due to Storm Ali, or Ali, whichever. I'd never heard of the National Ploughing Championships, National Ploughing Chips, yes, where you plough chips into the ground and hope nobody notices. I'd never heard of them being closed for a day before, and I think it's... Some people are going to disagree with me on this, but hear me out. I think it's dumb that they're even reopening it to the public. Like the exhibition area, I think that should just remain closed, and the National Ploughing Association should just deal with the losses, frankly, because there's going to be some companies that have stands at the ploughing where their stand's been completely destroyed, and there's going to be some where they have no replacement bits for their stand, or they, you know, are running such a tight ship that they don't have they won't have the time on Monday when everybody will have to go up and take things down. Or I think Friday is actually the day that's an unusual one. They won't have the people free on Friday because they've got to do something else. They've got a booking or something. If it's a company where literally everybody goes up and we'll say they're like their shed company and everybody's taken the ploughing time to just promote the company. Well, Friday wasn't a planned day for the ploughing. So they might have bookings, they might not be able to exhibit. I mean, it would have been a lot easier for the National Ploughing Association or Federation or whatever it's called to just cop the loss on this one, but they decided to reopen the public areas starting today, in theory, and tomorrow. But I think it's a mistake, because all the exhibitors will be up today or yesterday. They would have been in trying desperately to fix stuff and get their stands back in something vaguely resembling working order. I mean, the stand, I've seen pictures and some of those stands were just destroyed by the storm. I think it's shortchanging the people who are going to be paying good money to go in and see half-built stands now, and you know, the companies that paid good money to exhibit to people the absolute best of what they can do are only going to be able to show off some sort of shambles that was hastily put back together yesterday. I think it's not fair on the general public to have to see that, and it's not fair on the companies that paid quite a lot of money, and I know that they'd be demanding, you know, refunds if they were only actually exhibiting for one day, but it's better to exhibit for one day everything you want to than to exhibit for one day everything you want to and then 2 days some hastily rebuilt hodgepodge. I actually need to grab 2 bales here, I've just realized. So we're gonna be off by at least 1 bale for a little while. We're just gonna abandon a bale there. Yeah, that actually kind of works as an indicator that that bale is there for a reason. Now the plan for tomorrow's video is we're gonna get our first cows. It'll be late summer days, day 6, so the final day of summer. Now, we're very lucky at the moment in that we actually have all the fields harvested already. And doubly lucky in that I'd apparently sowed canola in field 38 and completely forgotten I'd done it. And apparently nobody noticed when I kept talking about I only had wheat planted. Because field 3 was sowed in barley. Field 1 was wheat, field 3 was barley with, for some reason, a tiny splotch of wheat. And field 38 was canola, and nobody decided to correct me. So either we all forgot, or FarmSim has magically changed all the crops that I planted from being a monoculture to being 3 different crops, which is actually really convenient. So what I can do then is, in theory, I don't think this is going to work 100%, sell the wheat, store the barley, and store the canola. Or sell all 3, get another field. Because I'll need, for barley, canola, corn, and sugar beets, which are going to be my root crop of choice because they're slightly easier to harvest, I'll need to buy another field for arable, for 100% sure. And it might well be field 15 for sugar beets because it's the smallest. Well, it's the smallest one that would make sense. I know I could get like field 17, but then it'd be a bit of a longer drive. And what I'll do with the sugar beets is I'll actually pile them up into a shed and palletize them over the winter as well. And I'll be storing them up at this yard, believe it or not. Much like what I'm doing with the bales here. I'll be storing them in this yard and just transporting them when they need to be transported. Yeah, I know that I knocked this pile of bales. I just decided not to highlight it when I did it. Because it's very easy to pick the bales back up with this this bale fork. This is from the straw add-on DLC pack, add-on pack DLC thing. From Creative Mesh, and it's honestly my favorite bit of that entire pack. Apart from maybe their bale textures, because their bale textures are delicious. They are some of the best bale textures I've seen. But yeah, this bale fork is my favorite part of the pack because I kind of find it a necessity. So you might find that I've got Strata on DLC turned on literally every map just because I want to use this bale fork, because look at how easy it makes bale stacking. When somebody who's terrible at bale stacking can stack bales this neatly just by using, you know, one piece of equipment, then yeah, it's a good piece of equipment. Do I think the DLC is worth it just for this one fork? Maybe not, but I'm finding a lot of value there, at the very least. So I need to trying to decide if I want to start a second stack of hay bales or just keep them going to the front of the shed at this point. Because there will come a point where I'm running, you know, out to here, and yeah, there's going to be no room to get at the manure and slurry equipment yet. Or none to get it at all, I should say. Luckily we don't need it yet. But another issue would be the snow masks, or the season's mask, or whatever you want to call it. I know Rackin's... if Rackin's watching, he's probably swearing at me that I called it a snow mask again. Hi, Rackin. But no, in all seriousness, I'll run into issues with the snow/seasons mask. I know a lot of people still call it a snow mask. Officially, it's called a seasons mask now, because it has more of an effect than just stopping snow. It obviously prevents the rain from getting at the bales as well. It's just kind of like a halo around the bales that no rain is seen to fall there by seasons. I know rain will fall there, but it I spoke with Racken about it when he was implementing the snow masks and all this stuff, and I asked him, well, why don't you just, you know, have a system where you search for roofs? I was kind of talking to myself in the Slack with him. I can explain why the Seasons as a snow mask it isn't just magically working on every map. It's because of optimization, simply put. Seasons has a snow mask or a seasons mask or whatever you want to call it mask. You can just call it the mask if you really want to, and to have Jim Carrey play a really bad version of him in a movie. But the reason it has a snow mask and doesn't just magically work is because it would be optimizational hell. I actually logicked my way through how it could be done without a snow mask, and it would involve raycasting, which is kind of used in FarmSim actually already. If I just press F5, you see these little spikes coming out of the ground? They're raycasts. Of a sort. They're not proper raycasts. The actual... This is more of a raycast here, but it's still strongly and harshly defined. In fact, the light is more of a raycast, but it's... If you imagine the sun, it shoots down rays of light, rays of sunlight onto the ground. With a raycast system in gaming, what you do is you set your item that you want to... You set something to impart the raycasts upon the world. And in the season system that I envisioned, it would be the ground, and there would be a kind of a sensing, sensing layer that could be put in through the script at 500 meters or something. And if the raycast hits anything in between those two layers, X effect happens. Or Y effect happens. And the reason that Seasons didn't go with the raycast method is because it's incredibly bad and intensive on computers, because they're having to invisibly render something that is constantly pinging to check things. Whereas with the Seasons mask or the snow mask, what it is literally just a layer on the ground that says, "Don't do thing here." And it's a lot easier to say, if no thing here layer is present, no thing there. So that's the way snow masks, aka Seasons masks, work for dummies. No, yes. I saw that, you three. I saw that. Just when you guys think I'm an idiot about most things, I explain a quite complicated concept like ray tracing and, well, not ray tracing. I've forgotten what it's called already. Could you use ray tracing for it too? No. But I explained a quite complicated concept quite simply. Right, I'm wondering, would it be a good idea, and I'm thinking the answer is no, would it be a good idea in the winter to stack the pallets of sugar beet in the middle here? So the plan that I kind of have is hay bales will go on this side of the shed, straw bales will go on this side of the shed, and I'll be left with a big gap in the middle. And I'm thinking pallets of root crop would be a really nice just thing to store. But I know that those pallets, if you get enough of them, have a habit of being, well, number one, glitchy, and number two, FPS hogs. Because they're quite small pallets, and you tend to have quite a lot of root crops. Also, if you're wondering why in Ireland I'm not going to be planting potatoes, it's because I really, really strongly hate using potatoes in farm sim. The single row harvesters just I don't agree with at all, and I always find like I always think that the bigger harvester, the Maxtron I think it is, or the Tektron, I can never tell those two apart. Is it the Maxtron that does potatoes? Dang it, it's the Tektron. But these two harvesters, the SE260 and the Kyler 2, they're just too small. They don't kind of fit, and I haven't found a nice middle ground between the way too big potato harvester and the not big enough potato harvester. Now potatoes, though, if you are willing to use either of those harvesters, are probably one of the best crops to grow because you only ever need to plant them once to harvest them forever. Or you, probably a better way to phrase it would be, you only need to buy the seeds once to harvest them forever, because the way the potato planters work, I don't know if you guys know this, I've said it a few times, but some people might not know this. The way the potato planters work in Farm Sim is you can actually use pallets or just a bucket and potatoes that you've already harvested to fill those. So comically, even though it's got some of the most expensive harvesting equipment and some of the most painful harvesting equipment, and you know, it's not something that many people grow ever in Farm Sim, it's probably the single most profitable crop, other than maybe sugarcane, because sugarcane you only ever need to plant the once and you can get a relatively cheap harvester for it. So do I want to put even more hay in? Yeah, I'm gonna put another few rows of hay in here. I think this trailer and then will be good, and what I'll do is actually cheat in the silage equipment again, and I'm not going to go with the same stuff. What I'm going to get for silage bales, because I do want to make silage bales, I quite like silage bales, is I'm going to get the Kuhn baler wrapper, which hopefully I can run. I didn't think of this. 162, 125, which isn't powerful enough, 185, okay. So this, by the way, is the most powerful tractor I have, but only by 23 horsepower. And it's still not over 200. The original plan was 160 horse limit, but I realized that I would be really limiting myself with what, like, even in-game base equipment I could use. So probably for the best that I decided that was not a good idea. Now, one exception I'm going to make to the no working after dusk rule is actually bale loading. Just because it may be necessary with seasons to work after dark with bales. That was my stream deck doing its weird little thing where it disconnects and reconnects. I don't know why it does that, but it does that sometimes. I've just kind of accepted it as a thing. But I think we are pretty much out of time now, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video today. As always, leave your comments, rule suggestions and stuff and thoughts on the video below. And I'm sure there'll be some complaints about the rule being changed for silage bales. I'm sure people will now complain about that. After people complained about me having the rule in the first place, despite it being randomly selected from the comments, I'm sure people will now complain that it's gone. Because I can't please everybody, and I'm just trying to please as many people as I can. I've seen more complaints about the silage bale rule than I have praise of it, so that is why the rule has changed again, and why I was willing to kind of subvert the idea of this series, just because it was getting to the point where I felt I was putting people off with the no silage bale rule, so I apologize for that. If the no silage bale rule is suggested again, I won't be putting it in. again, I'm not going to have a rule just changing forwards and backwards a lot. So that's kind of the end of that situation there. We have a lot of bales. Good grief. And before somebody suggests, I say before somebody suggests, it's the end of the video, Dave. Everybody suggested already, because I've been using it quite a lot today. There's already an auto load rule in the wheel, so I won't be adding in any weight to it. Although I am tempted to start weighting stuff so that the stuff that's suggested more comes in. Maybe a bit faster, because I can do that with the wheel. I don't know how the weights work, but I can do it. But that is going to do it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll leave by saying I've been RainbowDave. You've been watching the Crowdsourced Challenge on Shamrock Valley and Farming Simulator 17. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be back later this afternoon, about 5 o'clock, with some streamy goodness for you guys. Finishing the baling of the straw and bringing those bales in, and getting ready for the cows, because we will need to do some prep work, and we'll probably do a bit of rolling in the stream as well. But until then, stay safe and goodbye.